headline: MV Emprendedora is on its way to Scarborough. Restaurants struggle to get produce. Coral reefs in Tobago face several threats, and gang activity goes viral. Good evening, I am Kristen Solandi, and welcome to the Tobago Updates television news for Tuesday, 12th of September, 2023. Topping the news tonight, the MV Emprendedora is expected to arrive at the Scarborough port around 1 a.m. after receiving the necessary certifications to operate within the country. Its first sailing will bring hardware supplies that have been awaiting shipment for the last 3 weeks, following the engine room fire on board the Cabo Star. The interim solution for shipping cargo is not ideal, but the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce is grateful for the relief. The details in this report from Candice Jackson.
At least someone did something. This is how the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Curtis Williams, feels about the first arrival of the shipment of goods on board the Emprendedora.
We had nothing from coming from our goodly honorable minister, nothing from our representative. We heard nothing from none of them, deafening silence.
The only time the Minister of Works and Transport, Rohan Sinanan, commented on the matter was during Friday's sitting in Parliament when he responded to a question from the opposition. He has not responded to media requests on the matter and is currently occupied with a 3-day cabinet retreat. Williams explained that the charter for the Cabo Star Bridgeman Services Group took the decision to engage the services of the MV Emprendedora from Venezuela to provide short-term relief.
We want to give the opportunity to see what the vessel can do. I know it's 10 hours, so it's probably 1 day on, 1 day off for us, but we're trying our best to see how we can capitalize on what we have in front of us.
It would at least provide some relief to hardware stores.
This vessel will bring some kind of a savior to the construction sector, because in first instance it will be taking hardware materials or construction materials to that sector. We know that they have been suffering a lot.
Due to the Port Authority's recent policy of only accepting 3-ton trucks carrying essential goods on passenger ferries over the past few weeks, another issue has emerged. Williams explained that empty trucks are now stranded at their delivery point.
You can imagine those truckers came back to Tobago with all their trucks and trailers, and up to now those trucks and trailers cannot get back to Trinidad. So you see those trucks and trailers are parked somewhere, and no one have a plan.
According to Williams, the 3-week disruption in cargo shipment between the islands has significantly raised the cost of business owners, while their income remains the same. To compound the situation, he asserted that there is no plan in place to assist the business community.
Again, if there is one, probably sitting in someone's cupboard or cabinet, taking dust.
He reiterated his call for the relevant government ministers to have a meeting with businesses.
We really want to sit and have meaningful dialogue with these gentlemen, because it's important that we as a chamber, as a business committee in Tobago, really indicate to these guys what's really happening on island and what sort of plan they will have in place for when something like this do occur in the future.
Candice Jackson, Tobago Updates Television News.
One man firmly believes that Breadfruit can make a substantial contribution to enhancing food security in Tobago. Therefore, he has undertaken the mission of distributing breadfruit plants throughout Trinidad and Tobago. This morning, he was stationed at the Port Mall, generously giving away 200 young trees to the public free of charge. Remarkably, in less than 2 hours, all the trees had found new homes, underscoring the tremendous demand for this initiative. More in this report from Tanika Cruikshank.
Trinidad serves as a primary food source for Tobago, and the island's ongoing sea bridge crisis has led to a significant shortage of certain food products. Owner of BreadfruitTrees.com, Raul Bermudez, strongly believes that indiscriminately sharing numerous seeds without a clear objective is an inefficient use of food resources. Instead, he advocates for the distribution of fruits and vegetable plants that are known for their ability to yield substantial harvests, such as breadfruit.
Breadfruit, however, is a different thing. A breadfruit tree, you put it in the ground, unfortunately you have to wait 2.5 to 3 years for it to start giving fruit. But once it does, for the rest of your lifetime and the lifetime of your children, it will be producing fruit forever.
He partnered with the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries to cultivate breadfruit trees, and he has successfully distributed more than 8,000 trees across the nation, including some in Tobago.
One of the things my trips have triggered, and in the third one, I gave the House of Assembly 196 trees to launch the Tobago Breadfruit Initiative. Yes. I'm not sure how that's going because I continue getting calls and requests for breadfruit trees from Tobago, which is why I'm here again.
Bermuda stated that the genuine warmth of Tobagonians consistently inspires him to make a repeated visit to the island, given that breadfruit holds a significant place in the island's heritage and culture. He is determined to ensure that these cherished traditions can be passed down to future generations.
And I say, would you like a breadfruit tree? They timidly say no. I say, it's free. Yeah, then they will come. And when you hand them the tree, they say, wait. And they go inside and they bring you a zabuka, 3 mango, and so on. And I said, they don't realize that the zabuka costs, at least in Trinidad, more than the breadfruit tree.
Tanika Cruikshank, Tobago Updates Television News.
The stock of produce in Tobago is running low due to issues with the sea bridge. Many businesses, including restaurants, are facing challenges in receiving their goods. However, one businessman does not believe local farmers in Tobago are not contributing significantly to alleviating these problems. Curtis Williams, the chairman of the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, expressed his views on Tobago's farming situation during an interview on the Tobago Updates morning show. Here is reporter Ariana Scipio with the details.
Restaurants located at the Port Mall are encountering challenges when it comes to sourcing fresh vegetables and other food ingredients for their daily menus. Oasis Salad and Juice Bar, for instance, have reported difficulties in obtaining seafood as they rely on suppliers based in Trinidad. They mentioned resorting to using the fast ferry to procure their supplies, although they are still managing. Similarly, when we inquired with Coconuts Cafe about their sea bridge related issues, they also shared that they face difficulties in accessing produce, notably breadfruit and grocery items. Many other restaurants in Tobago expressed similar concerns. To address this issue, both the THA and the central government aim to encourage farmers to supply these businesses. However, Curtis Williams, the chairman of the Tobago Vision of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, does not view this as a viable solution. He expressed concerns that Tobago farmers are unreliable and inconsistent. Additionally, he explained that if they were to engage in farming more seriously, they would require assistance from the THA.
These guys will plant and then after reaping the crop, they go on a little break. So there's no bit of consistency. They do farming as a hobby, as a side thing, as like a hustle, and not a really meaningful career. And with that now, they need the support of the THA to give them the land.
Williams does not believe Tobago's farmers can supply produce commercially.
We talk about farming, yeah, but we're not ready for farming, Bria. We're ready for a kitchen garden, not ready farming.
Despite his concerns, TATCO has a mandate to improve food security on the island, and they are working towards achieving that goal. Ariana Scipio, Tobago Updates Television News.
Find out about the health of our coral reefs when we return after the break.
your car break down.
Oh, no, not again.
And you're worried paying a wrecker could mean a pocket breakdown too. But when you're insured with Tatil, no stress.
Yes!
A Tatil motor policy has lots of benefits that protect your pocket, like free roadside assistance. That's free 24/7 every time, as many times as you need. Tatil, where people are people. A member of the Ansa McCall Group.
Mount Pleasant Credit Union back to school loan promotion. Loans up to 15,000. Requirements: job letter and a payslip no more than 1 month old. Utility bill, copy of book list, salary deduction, 10% down payment for self-employed persons, evidence of income and expenditure, bank statement, 12 to 18 months, other supporting document. Promotion ends October 18. Contact us at 639-8375 or 8108 or check us out on www.mpcutobago.com or email us at loans@mpcutobago.com. Mount Pleasant Credit Union's back to school loan promotion.
Welcome back to the Tobago Updates television news. Crime is finding new avenues through social media. Nowadays, numerous gang-related crimes are being discussed within the realm of social media. Gang members are also being recruited online. Assistant Commissioner of Police for Tobago, Collis Hazel, of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, offered additional insights into gang-related activities online and presented potential solutions to address them during his appearance on the Tobago Updates morning show. Ariana Scipio has the details.
Gangs are increasingly using social media platforms to share information and coordinate criminal activities. ACP Collis Hazel elaborates on how these gangs carry out their operations through popular social media apps like WhatsApp, Zoom, and many others.
We take on board that we have had situations in which gang leaders are seeking to recruit members, including school children, into their gangs, and they are utilizing all the technology that is available to them.
ACP Hazel mentioned that gangs no longer rely on face-to-face meetings as they did in the past when technology was less prevalent. He emphasized that all the gangs' activities now occur online, reducing the necessity for physical gatherings.
You can have, or we do have, scenarios where these hits are taking place virtually and the recruitment are taking place virtually in order to treat with such situation where they meet and discuss and strategize in terms of their operation.
Hazel stated that all 9 murders in Tobago were gang-related. This includes the shooting of businessman Alison Balla and teenager Precious Wills, both occurring in the month of August. He noted that the police are in the process of developing a strategy to combat gang-related crime in Tobago. This strategy involves utilizing ICT technology to minimize online crime meetings and establishing specialized units within the division.
We at this point in time in Tobago is in the operation stage of establishing a gang unit, reduction unit, operation unit on the island in the division so that we can focus our intelligence and our strategies to penetrate that.
ACP Hazel also emphasized the importance of the public's cooperation in sharing any information they may have regarding criminal activities with the police. He explained that the majority of crimes are solved with the assistance of citizens and encouraged people to remain vigilant. Ariana Scipio, Tobago Updates Television News.
Coral reefs in Tobago are under threat from climate change, diseases, and pollution, while seagrass beds are all gone except for in Bonaccord Lagoon. It is creating a task for restoration efforts. The Institute of Marine Affairs recently presented a report on their Marine Tobago project, which sought to determine the feasibility of coral reef and the seagrass restoration. Senior reporter Candice Jackson has the details in this story, which is part 1 of a 3-part series.
IMA's Marine Tobago pilot project studied 5 reefs around Tobago: Buku Reef, Flying Reef, Mount Irvin, Angel Reef, and Boopsy Island in Charlottesville. What marine biologists like Dr. Anjani Ganesh found out was not so good.
If you see Mount Irvin, right, they scored the highest in terms of the coral diversity and lowest in terms of coral algae, but then it's not doing so well in terms of coral recruitment and herbivore biomass.
This simply means that despite a healthy-looking reef, it is not good at growing coral. However, when other reefs such as Angel Reef and Speyside were examined, the outlook was not so good.
And in fact, we think we saw a disease outbreak last year in dark spot disease, right? And then flying reef, which occurs at the south coast, has scored pretty poorly in a lot of the factors.
These factors include high levels of sediment and algae cover, which smother the corals. Pollution from the land exacerbates these issues. Meanwhile, the population of crucial reef fish, such as parrotfish that feed on the algae, is declining. Simultaneously, rising sea temperatures are already leading to coral bleaching in the reefs. If this trend continues, the coral will die, and coastlines will become vulnerable to erosion from rough seas. Coral reefs play a vital role in protecting coastlines. Based on current sea temperature projections, Dr. Ganesh explained that Tobago's coral reefs are at risk.
The orange says that those areas are likely to severely bleach at an annual rate from 2050 on.
The more Tobago's reefs are covered by algae and sediments and experience coral bleaching, the more negatively the island's tourism industry would be affected, potentially leading to job losses. However, there is still hope. The marine study reveals signs of coral spawning among crucial reef-building corals, as noted by marine biologist Dr. Hannah Lochan.
So July in Mount Irvin is where we observe most of the spawning. And these were in the Orbicella fabulata, the mountainous star coral, the boulder brain coral, and the symmetrical brain coral. So
this signifies that coral has a capacity for reproduction. Further research is essential to enhance coral reproduction and growth in order to bolster reef resilience. Candace Jackson, Tobago Updates Television News.
Tune into tomorrow's newscast for part 2 of reef and seagrass beds under threat from Candace Jackson. Turning now to entertainment news. The University of the West Indies, UWI, will confer honorary degrees on distinguished individuals during the class of 2023 graduation ceremonies starting on October 7th. It coincides with the university's 75th Jubilee celebrations. Notably, this includes 3 world-renowned artists, Heather Headley, Alison Hines, and the legendary Hugh Beres Hammonds.
Heather Headley, originally hailing from Trinidad and Tobago, has made an indelible mark on the world stage as both a singer and actress. She garnered recognition by securing the role of Nala in the original Broadway cast of Elton John and Tim Rice's Tony-winning musical The Lion King in 1997. Headley also clinched a Grammy Award for Best Contemporary R&B Gospel Album with her 2009 release, Audience of One. Hugh Beresford Hammond has enthralled audiences for over 5 decades with his distinctive and soulful voice. Hammond's musical journey commenced with appearances in talent shows, and his debut release, The Wanderer, marked the beginning of a prolific career. His unwavering dedication to music and spontaneous approaches to compositions attracted numerous talented Jamaican musicians to his home studio. In 2002, Hammond's album Music is Life earned a Grammy Award nomination for Best Reggae Album. Alison Hines is a prominent figure in the regional music scene, and her passion for calypso and reggae has left an enduring impact on the world of innovative, urban-influenced Caribbean music. Hines, a trailblazer for women in the music industry, was appointed as the Caribbean International Federation of Business and Professional Women Goodwill Ambassador in 2014. In 2018, she was bestowed the prestigious title of Barbados Cultural Ambassador by Prime Minister Fredel Stewart, becoming one of the only 2 women to hold this honor. These honorees will join the graduating class from KFL, St. Augustine and Mona, marking the culmination of their studies. Reporting for Tobago Updates Television News, I am Bianna Brebner.
The Miss Grand Trinidad and Tobago competition's promoter defends the selection of Milady Matarano a Venezuelan national to represent the country. This follows public backlash about a Venezuelan being selected as the country's representative. Stolen Production Limited issued a statement addressing the controversy surrounding this decision. They acknowledged the hard work of contestants, sponsors, and supporters, emphasizing the judging process's fairness. SPL clarified that Matarano meets the eligibility criteria for the Miss Grand International franchise as a non-native residing in Trinidad and Tobago. They praised her as an intrinsic representative of the country's culture. SPL expressed pride in having Matarano as a contestant and delegate, highlighting Trinidad's compassionate response to Venezuelan neighbors in need. They emphasized the rich history of cultural exchange between the two nations. SPL celebrated Matarano's role in representing Trinidad's diverse society and urged unity in the face of negativity. They affirmed their commitment to inclusivity and acceptance, reinforcing Trinidad and Tobago's multicultural identity. SPL expressed confidence in Matarano's representation at the final in Vietnam and described her as a true example of being Trini. More news after the break. Keep it here.
There's a new date for Tobago Swim Fest, September 17th, 2023. Come and witness the main event, the 4-kilometer swim from Pigeon Point to Buku Point. More than $25,000 in prizes. It's a family affair, so come out from 11 a.m. on the beautiful Buku Beach. There'll be swimming races, sandcastle building, and seafood on sale. Come and enjoy a fun day at the beach. Calling swimmers from Crown Point to Charlottesville. Registration on the day.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Okay, passage and come on over.
Thank you for staying with us. In an increasingly health-conscious world, attention has shifted towards a remarkable and often underestimated aspect of our bodies, the gut. Once primarily associated with digestion, the gut has now become the focal point of research that is revolutionizing our comprehension of human health. Find out more in this report from Bianna Brebner.
Research has revealed a link between gut microbiota and overall well-being, prompting scientists and health experts to regard this discovery as a potential game-changer in medicine and nutrition. Melissa Abeko-Walker, a food technologist in the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources and Sustainable Development, elaborated on this connection.
So basically, gut health it's basically the maintenance of the delicate ecosystem which resides within all of us. Mm-hmm. And we all have this ecosystem of microorganisms which are vibrant and lively inside of us. They actually make up they actually comprise, in numbers, they're actually more than the human cells in our body. And the gut is more than just our stomach. It's actually the entire gastrointestinal tract. That's from the mouth to the anus, and that's 30 feet long. And it comprises of all of those things, all the organs involved and all the microorganisms which make up this ecosystem.
Abeko Walker mentioned that there are several factors that can contribute to the development of poor gut health.
So if we aren't careful, we can have certain issues like SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Mm-hmm. You can have candida, You could have gastrointestinal reflux disease.
Scalp problems and excessive sugar consumption may arise from an unhealthy gut. Abeko Walker has recommended 3 ways to enhance gut.
Incorporating fermented foods like yogurt, like sauerkraut, like fermented vegetables. I would say another one that we fermented vegetables. You can add probiotics. So we all know about probiotics. Yes. Adding a probiotic to your food. So there are different capsules that can be used, and even these fermented foods are probiotic in nature. So what is happening is that you have the fermented food, which is has probiotics in it, and the soluble fiber in the fermented food, it acts as a prebiotic, which feeds the probiotics. So then you have something nice happening. When you are able to consume them, you keep your gut microflora healthy by including probiotics into the food.
Okay.
Yes. And one more thing that you can do actually is to just slow down and be mindful when you're eating.
Bianna Brebner, Tobago Updates, Television News.
According to the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Office, tonight's weather forecast anticipates a pleasant and warm evening with a slight possibility of 1 or 2 brief passing showers. Temperatures will dip to a low of 27 degrees Celsius. Looking ahead to tomorrow, the weather is expected to be predominantly hot and sunny, although there is a chance of isolated showers, particularly during the afternoon hours. Beach conditions are projected to be favorable, with seas remaining slight, reaching up to 1.4 meters in open waters, and remaining smooth in sheltered areas. Sunrise is set for 5:52 a.m., followed by sunset at 6:05 p.m. This has been your Tobago Updates Television News. Before we go, here are the headlines once more. MV Emprendedora is on its way to Scarborough. Restaurants struggle to get produce. Coral reefs in Tobago face several threats, and gang activity goes virtual. I am Kristen Solandi. Have a good night.